I'm glad that everything in this country is kind of like leaning the right way, and a lot of families getting put back together. So this reaction is for the Hispanic community, especially the Hispanic community, and let's get to this reaction.
Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen says the government will meet today's deadline to reunite all eligible children and parents who were separated at the border. At this moment, more than 500 families are still waiting to be reunited. That's the good news, but the very bad news is another 463 parents have been deported without their children, and word is they may never be reunited. Initially, more than 2,500 children between the ages of 5 and 17 were separated from their families. Maria Villarreal is in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where many eligible families are being sent for reunification. Maria, good morning.
Well, good morning. Albuquerque has become one of the hubs for these reunifications happening at shelters like the Family Lutheran Center right behind me. But there are still over 900 children between the ages of 5 and 18 that are considered ineligible. So they will stay in the government's custody past today's deadline. Now, ineligible means that the person they came with when they crossed over is not their parent, or they might have a criminal history. Albuquerque's departure terminal is where once separated families are finding a fresh start. Romela Victoria Isaula and her son Geronimo are heading to their new home in Massachusetts after being separated for 2 months. Isaula recalls the moment she says her son was torn from her. We arrived at immigration and they screamed at me because I was crying over my son, she says. I didn't know where they would take him. I didn't know if they were going to treat him well. Romela and Geronimo are just 2 of almost 1,200 immigrant families who have been brought back together under a federal court order. In Baltimore, 7-year-old Andy couldn't hold back his tears after seeing his mother Aureli for the first time in nearly a month.
The government hasn't taken the proper steps to effectively deny these parents the right to their children.
Virginia-based attorney Sophia Gregg represents Aureli and Andy. Like most families who've been reunited, the 2 will have to wait for their asylum case to be heard by a judge, and they still face the risk of deportation.
There's also a large number of families or parents that the government has determined are ineligible to be reunited.
The city is expecting to receive about 300 families. These separated families are coming through here, but they will not stay for very long. The goal of these organizations is to get them out on a plane and to their final destination in less than 24 hours. Nora?
All right, Maria, thank you.
So look, I got a real question. What if everything in this country was turned upside down, right? Everything was backwards. And let's say the Hispanics was the ones that was in the top line of everything, right? And then they made the rule to say, us and the African Americans was the most important, and all the rest of that, right? And then all the Caucasians, it was hard for y'all to get a good job. It was hard for y'all to go to school. It was always some BS going on with y'all. Pretty much, reverse how the way things is in reality right now. Right? And then they told y'all, they take your kids away from you and put you back in London, in Russia, where most of y'all came from anyway, in Ireland and everything like that. Then took your kids away from you. How would you feel? They stripped you away from being a human, pretty much. A parent. An individual at that time. How would you feel if everything was in reverse? Anybody can comment on this video. When I first heard about them calling them immigrants, like, come on, man, those human beings too. You can't treat people like trash just because you feel like it. To be honest with you, the Hispanics is the reason why we got buildings, apartments, and homes right now. Us as Americans, this American made, American living, We feel like we too good. They get our hands too dirty. They come here and they build everything. Hotels, homes. They've been doing it for years. And you can call them illegals or whatever like that. But you want to know what? What they not? It's dumb and broke. Oh, and the third, they never complain. Us as American-made people, we don't understand about the value of saving $1. No, every time we get it, we got to spend it. They save it. They save it. I ain't never in my life heard of a Hispanic getting his car repoed. You wanna know why? Because they buy it. Everybody else is living around here renting. You renting your home. Yeah, when you make payments on a car, you renting it. It don't belong to you. They buy theirs. You wanna know why? Because they do all the jobs that we feel like we shouldn't do. But you take away their family, their kids, their mothers, their sisters, and what did that do for you? Nothing. Because they always find a way to survive and come back to each other. You think black people was the only ones protesting against something? No, they was too. And that's why it's such thing as a God, a real religion, and it worked out for them in the best way. So think about that the next time you want to throw racial slurs towards a Hispanic America. Because they're the ones that survive the most. Blacks do too, but they push harder though. Because sometimes, man, they join together as their own race, as their own people. African Americans, we still ain't got it right. WC Radio. Peace 995. I'm out. Peace.
Baby girl, I'm the heart of the city. Ain't nobody really fucking with me, let me tell ya. Yeah, let me tell ya that we winning on this side. Just admit the failure, you ain't about your business.